And we're back at it with another one from Hobbyking. This is the Hercules C-130 version 2, 1.6 meters. This thing is big. 4 propellers. If you guys didn't see it already, I made a video about their B-17. It was one of my all-time favorite planes, so you know I had to pick up another 4-prop. I did fly this a little bit. Let me tell you, I flew it. It was like 20 degrees out and gloomy. I really wasn't in a good mood, so I wanted to redo it. Hobbyking sent me this a while ago. And sorry for taking so long to get a video out about it. I was filming some short form content and I was doing some low passes and hit the floor. In doing that, I caught something too and I broke one of these landing gear doors, but I fixed it and she's ready to go. So I do want to give this thing a proper review, being it is very cool. So let's dive into it. Giving our C-130 its power is going to be 4 independent 1000 kV motors, pushing those very nice and scale propellers. Now, speaking of scale, we also have split flaps. If you've never set up split flaps, it could be a little more difficult than typical settings of flaps on other RC airplanes. So if you guys have any questions, I'm leaving my email in the description. Feel free to reach out. Now, our rudder does have plenty of authority, so does our elevator and our ailerons, and I have mine dialed in pretty nice, so I'm leaving the rates down below. Feel free to check those out. Now, what separates this C-130 from other cargo planes on the market is going to be a retractable landing gear, and if you wait a second, you will see that front door actually sequence closed. Moving on to the back landing gear, we also have doors that open up and our gear comes out. What's very cool is that those doors are also sequencing, so when our wheels go in, if you just wait a second, you'll see those doors close perfectly tight. And of course, what fun would a cargo plane be without that actual functioning cargo bay door, so we could drop things like these little army parachute guys. Yes, very cool. I'm loving how scale it is, and I slowed mine down to 2 seconds to give it a more realistic feel. Opening up the side bay compartment is where our battery goes. I'm using a 2800 LIHV pack, which is the size of a 2400 milliamp LiPo, and an 8-channel receiver. Now with this setup, believe it or not, you're gonna get over 7 minutes of flight time, which is pretty crazy. Let's throw this magnetic hatch back on the airplane and get this plane up for its last ever flight. We're always gonna do a control test. So we got our elevator, we have our rudder, our ailerons all working. We got half flaps is that, full flaps. I'm gonna take off full flap. Let's taxi out. Get this thing in the air. The Hercules C-130. What a beautiful looking plane. It really is. Got those lights. Loving it. All right, line up. I'm gonna fix my mic real quick and we are taking off. And we're up. Whoa, flaps are coming off. Gears coming in. So I was about 60% throttle right there. As I said, these are 1000 kV motors. The propellers are pretty small, so you're not gonna get a ton of performance. But this is a very scale airplane, and it looks amazing in the air. I need a little bit of trim. She seems to be slightly nose heavy. All right, we're dialed in. Now for a plane this size, you don't have to worry about turning sharp. I guess because of the size of the wingspan of those motors, it has no tendency to wanna stall. So right there, I was about 40% throttle. I'm just gonna fly a nice small circuit right here so you guys can see just how maneuverable this thing is. I'm using no rudder at all. Just a beautiful flying plane. All right, cool. I'm gonna come around. We're gonna do a full speed pass just so you can see. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen like the Blue Angels Fat Albert C-130 at an air show. This is the exact move they do. So I'm gonna come in full speed and then I'm gonna climb at a decent angle like they do. Oh!
What's that?
I don't know.
Oh.
Oh, R.I.P. Before we get into my version of what an NTSB report would be for this airplane crash, I do want to go over the plane a little bit. As you heard in the beginning of the video, I did say that I flew this on a gloomy day, and I didn't really want to use that footage. Reason being, it was about 25 degrees. I really wasn't in a good mood. Although I did enjoy flying the plane, my voiceover and all those things weren't that well, but the footage was pretty good. Now, I did put this thing through a decent amount of testing, including some stall testing, and as you see here, no matter what I was doing, this plane would not wingtip over. So I bring it up into a climb, I kill the power, and instead of tipping over, it pretty much just falls straight down, which makes it a good candidate for somebody who's never flown a plane of this size because you don't have to worry about it stalling. Now, it does fly slow very well. It's not a powerhouse of an airplane. You can do mild things like this barrel roll right here was pretty tough to get it to do. I needed a lot of up elevator when I was inverted. and it doesn't have a ton of power to do these back loops. But all in, it is a scale flying plane. So if you're using it for that, nice touch and goes and some nice slow scale flying, it is an amazing aircraft. And I may get myself another one. We will see. It really has a lot more pros than cons. Flying in small circuits is definitely a good time with this thing. But this video is about the crash, so let me show you that in slow-mo and we'll get into the report.
What's that?
I don't know.
Oh.
What happened?
I don't know. It's like you heard it. What the? That sucks.
That does suck. R.I.P. What happened? I think one of these came off. I think this came off in flight. That would be the only thing that makes sense.
That's weird. It definitely...
Look, it's not like the propeller fell off because the screw's still on. So it's not like I didn't, you know. What the hell happened?
Maybe we can zoom in on the video and see.
Damn. That sucks.
That does suck. You just got this one too. Walk your sorry butt out.
Come on. Just leave the field at the field, you know what I mean?
Stick a thumbnail.
R.I.P. The NTSB report is in. We have two failures here. We have an assembly issue and we also have pilot issue. But how can that be? Shouldn't we blame the plane when we crash? Listen, planes don't just fall out of the sky. Planes also don't just fall apart. When there's the amount of R&D these companies do to build a plane, usually they're spot on. You know, there are micro tweaks, and one of them is kind of why this failed, which I'm going to go over. If you watch close on the video, you see two things fly off after you hear that little explosion. First one being the nose cone to obviously the nacelle that's hanging. Second thing was the propeller. So what happened was when I was assembling, there's no nuts that hold these on. It's just the nose cone slides into place and then you have this screw that holds on the nose cone. When you over tighten the nose cone, there's these little supports inside the nose cone that almost turn. So they're all supposed to be straight, but then when you over tighten it, they'll start to bend. Now it creates a weak point. So my guess is that a little bit of vibration caused that to give way, caused the propeller to fly off. Now I'm not sure why the nacelle popped off. Could have been vibration, it could have been from the crash. I can't really see that in the video, but it was definitely nose cone flew off, propeller flew off. Now following that, pilot error, when us as pilots were flying and a wing kind of falls, that normally indicates a stall. So we have muscle memory that when a wing falls, we throttle. It's just natural, it's what we do. So that's what I did, I throttled. Now when you're missing a motor, you have three spinning, that side's gonna overpower this side, and it's gonna cause it to do exactly what it did, go into a death spiral.
What's that?
I don't know. How I could have not done that was when that pop happened, I should have shut the throttle off and kind of just glided it down safely. But at that time, being as far away, you know, the camera zoomed in, so as far away as I was, I couldn't see that the propeller flew off. I couldn't see that I was missing an engine. So, I mean, it happened. It is what it is. It's part of the hobby. Definitely not blaming the plane. You know, if I never over-tightened this, none of this stuff would have happened. And if I didn't throttle out, I probably would have been able to save this thing and just put a new propeller on. So anyway, crashes happen, part of the hobby. It's a learning experience. That's why I love having videos of things. And even new pilots that are like getting into the hobby now, when I hear a beginner flying a plane for the first time and they've complained about something in the past with a plane, or something else they tried, I always tell them to videotape the flight. That way we as people who are in the hobby can look at the video and figure out what went wrong. So it's always good to have a video running so you can kind of go over and see what happened. Anyway, the plane is demolished. I'm not gonna fix it. I'm giving this to the president of my club, Tom Hunt. He wants it, he says that he's gonna fix it. Not really sure how, but he is a master at this stuff. So I'm excited to see what he does. And I'll probably videotape it when it's all done. And as far as me getting another one, I would love another one. I think it flew well. It was a lot of fun. It was very scale flying plane. And all in, I do recommend this. Just don't over tighten these like I did. Anyway, guys, appreciate you watching. Till next time. And hopefully next time, the spell of crashing planes comes to an end. See you guys soon.